What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about Hype Williams and his silence after Aaliyah's accident. Now Hype Williams was a popular sought after music video director of major R&B and hip hop artists of the 90s and the 2000s. And it's worth noting that over 10 of these music videos were for R. Kelly, which is going to come up again, so stay tuned. He not only shot classic music videos, but classic movies and took many iconic photos, including some of Aaliyah, which he even posted on his Instagram once upon a time. Now, after working with Aaliyah on this photo shoot, he was then chosen as the music video director for her song Rock the Boat. And it's to be said that most of his decisions are the reason Aaliyah ended up in the predicament she did. But let's bring this back to the beginning, when Aaliyah first appeared on 106 & Park in New York City the day before she started filming Rock the Boat in Miami. Now, New York City is known for many things, but it's not known for its beaches. So okay, production first started in Miami on a soundstage, the green screen, which I mentioned in my last video. You could tell Aaliyah and her team and her dancers and Fatima and everybody was having fun. It was a nice shoot. It was flowing effortlessly. Now, as a side note, I don't know if it was only me, because I saw other people say this, but during these scenes, behind the scenes, right? Then it seemed like Hype Williams had this attitude of he was just over it, he wanted to get it over with, get his money, and be over the shoot. That's the type of energy he was giving off, like he was just ready for the shoot to be over with, but I digress. So okay, we get to the point where the green screen scenes are done. Now, what most people don't know is that Jamaica was gonna be a destination choice for the video, but after bad weather, Bahamas was the next choice. So then it really brings up that question of why the Bahamas? And why not Miami, which was known for beaches? This led me to Google the question, how many beaches are in Miami? To which the article came up saying 16 great beaches of Miami from north to south. On the beaches of Miami, the Atlantic Ocean merges with the Caribbean Sea. The sand turns soft and white and the waters lap the shore in shades of light blue to nearly clear aqua. The area offers more than a dozen beaches, all with their own vibe, which would have been a perfect setting for Aaliyah in her beach scenes, which then led to another article titled The Top 10 Secluded Beaches in Miami, which would have been perfect for Aaliyah to have a secluded beach area to film this video. And I'm pretty sure if they went to a certain beach area in Miami and said, oh, they had got the permit, Aaliyah's gonna film this video here, they would have closed it down, no problem. For some reason, Hype wanted to take the video out of the States all the way to the Bahamas, which required all of this extra travel and expenses and fees. And just thinking about it from a director point of view, right? Wouldn't it have been cost effective, less cost, less production, less hassle to just keep the video in Miami instead of taking an extra trip, extra flight, extra money, dancers, the crew, everybody all the way to the Bahamas and back? Let's also get into how the underwater scene that made it seem like Aaliyah was swimming in the ocean was filmed in the University of Miami Olympic-sized swimming pool for their divers, which was all Hype's idea, as he had confirmed. And in watching, you could obviously see that Aaliyah was anxious and nervous, as using a breathing regulator did not work on her first few attempts. And as a side note, you can see they did the green screen in Miami. He had her go to the University of Miami to do the underwater scenes. But for some reason, you couldn't go to the beaches in Miami? Now you're catching on to this, right? He couldn't take her to the beaches in Miami to do the video. They had to go all the way to the Bahamas to do the video, which required all this extra travel and money. Going back to Aaliyah being nervous to use the breathing regulator underwater, luckily, she had her natural swimming ability and she handled it like a professional, holding her breath under the deep water. This is another thing that gets overlooked a lot. But this is another dangerous situation Hype had put Aaliyah in for the aesthetic of this music video. Kevin Taylor, who shot the behind the scenes footage of Rock the Boat for the BET special, even said this about the underwater shots. Quote, I always struggle with those scenes in the video because those are the scenes where I know what it looks like to see her scared. Because the first couple of times during that take of that, she had to take deep breaths and go really deep down. We didn't know at the time that those very shots that she seemed so fearful in are the places where she seems to exude the greatest peace, that looks the most angelic, that looks the sweetest. These scenes underwater were some of the most beautiful and memorable scenes from the video, but Looking at what Aaliyah had to go through and hearing her describe it, how she was scared and anxious that she had to hold her breath so deep underwater, just knowing what she had to go through just to get that shot. Being a professional, she had to get that shot. Hype Williams just told her, oh, we gotta go deep in this water. You can swim, right? All right, go deep down in this water and do some beautiful mermaid movements. And it's just like, Aaliyah being a professional, she dealt with it. She got the scene done. But that was a dangerous situation to put her in. It really was. Now we get into Hype's production company, Instinct, which he was the head of, in which it should be noted that after her death, her parents, Diane and Michael, brought a wrongful death lawsuit against Instinct, his production company, and several other defendants in state superior court in Los Angeles. The Hartons reached an undisclosed settlement in that October. So to break it down, because of this settlement, and whatever money Aaliyah's parents got from it, all of the charges and all of the blame from Instinct was taken away. But Barry Hankinson and Blackground filed their own lawsuit against Hype and Instinct only 5 days later. And in these court documents, Blackground contended that it was not suing Instinct for the wrongful death of Aaliyah, but rather suing Instinct for his negligence, which Blackground alleged resulted in severe harm and loss. The loss being Aaliyah and the potential gain, the monetary gain she could have made for the record company, as Aaliyah was actually Blackground's primary asset. It was also stated that the damage Blackground suffered from the result of the negligence and Aaliyah's death had been substantial, totaling in the millions of dollars. And to break it even more down, all of these millions of dollars is the potential money Aaliyah could have made for Blackground, which was the label Barry Hankinson owned, which was the label she was on. And as a response, Instinct, Hype's production company, fired back saying that no relationship ever existed between Instinct and Blackground, as to impose upon Instinct a duty of care to provide Aaliyah with safe transportation. Which in so many words is basically saying how even though this was all Hype's idea to move the video to the Bahamas, which required all this extra money and travel to the Bahamas and back from the Bahamas, that they felt like it wasn't their responsibility to make sure that she at least got safe transportation, as this did require travel by plane. They didn't feel like it was their responsibility. Something else worth mentioning is how neither Cowart or Williams, Cowart being another co-owner of the Instinct production company, Williams being Hype Williams, neither one of them served with process or appeared in this action. And while Instinct has moved to dismiss Blackground's complaint in its entirety, neither Cowart nor Williams have joined in this motion. Basically meaning Hype Williams didn't even care enough to show up to these court proceedings. And if he did, he would have showed up. But he didn't, as stated in the documents, which adds on to his silence after Aaliyah's accident. And another thing about his silence is that the New York Times article, where it was stated that they reached out to Hype Williams and his production company for further commentary, they got no response. Also, if read further in the court proceedings and documents, it was claimed how Hype Williams' production company Instinct never followed certain protocols they were supposed to, like allowing the airport to weigh their luggage. So with all of this, one can infer that Hype didn't give second thought to Aaliyah leaving early or the flight arrangements afterwards. Now we know for a fact that Aaliyah did leave early because all of the footage for the Bahamas was already done and filmed. Hype claimed that they stayed behind, they had to get extra film, extra shoots, extra footage. But what footage? Like I said in my previous video, all of her scenes in the Bahamas was done. She was the star. All the scenes was filmed. What more footage did you have to get? And as we all know, last August, Damon Dash came out revealing how Lenny Kravitz, of all people, Lenny Kravitz, he got wind of something and he tried to send his private jet out there, which was of substantial size, to Aaliyah and her team. But in some way, for some reason, Hype Williams took it instead. In this interview with ET, Damon Dash said he had heard Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. He also said, you could ask Hype about that, to which he hinted at there was more to the story that has never been told. He continued, because of my respect for Aaliyah and her family, everyone's respectful of her memory. No one really speaks on it. So out of respect for her memory, I don't say a lot of things. And this goes back to my previous video about Fatima and how there seems to be this sworn secrecy about this accident. And a lot of details, key details that are missing that many people might know, but nobody wants to speak on it for Aaliyah's memory. But that only hurts that memory because it makes people question things that don't make sense. Hype obviously had some type of friendship or work relationship with Damon Dash and with Aaliyah, since he's pictured with them a few times. He's even posted them on his Instagram, so they obviously have had some type of friendship or dealings with each other. And that shows how there is definitely more to the story in this accident that has never been told as of yet. Surprisingly, when this interview came out, there was a lot of backlash that Hype got, but there wasn't much done. You go through his comments on his Instagram, you see a few comments of people highlighting it and questioning Hype about why did he take the plane and all these different things that people have commented under his Instagram, but no response. Damon Dash came out with this interview. He, in a way, exposed Hype for taking this plane that Lenny Kravitz had sent, and still no response. There's still silence. He's still silent about this accident that he has so much to do with, since the Bahamas was his idea. What it's seeming like is Hype put his own safety over Aaliyah's and her crew instead of making sure everyone was safe and had proper arrangements, when he was the one that had the video shoot moved to the Bahamas in the first place, which required all of this extra travel by plane back and forth. And the fact that he's never fought against his claim, he's never had any response to it, he's still silent about it, speaks a lot in itself. Come to think of it, the only time Hype has ever spoke out after the accident was in relation to hoping the footage got released, when he spoke to MTV, stating, "It's a very special project. Everyone put their heart and soul into the work, as we always do, with the intent that the world would enjoy it. I know there's a lot of pain involved, but that's all the more reason people would appreciate what we've done as a group." He also goes on to say how him and Aaliyah had this friendship for 6 years and how he wishes that they got to know each other better. And it's like, of all the things he really emphasized in the MTV article, he emphasized hoping that the footage got released, which if you break it down, he's really saying, I know this tragic accident happened after the shoot, but I hope that I still get to release this footage to BET and MTV. Wow. Another interesting interview that got a lot of people talking and thinking in relation to Aaliyah's accident is when Barry Hankinson went on the Dr. Oz show to talk about Aaliyah and everything that happened. He declared how he did not even want Hype Williams to direct that video because of his relation to R. Kelly. Remember in the beginning when I said how Hype had directed over 10 R. Kelly videos, more than any other artist? Because of that relation, Barry didn't even want him to do this video. But Barry claimed that Aaliyah's mother was adamant about getting Hype to direct this video. She had still had some type of relationship with R. Kelly, as Barry had stated, and in a way, it influenced Aaliyah to ultimately choose Hype to direct the video, as Fatima Robinson confirmed in an interview she did with W Magazine, because they loved his vision he had for the song, Rock the Boat. Something else that makes you go, And as an extra food for thought, I want to bring up this Jet magazine cover story, Young Legends Who Live On Through Their Music, which featured Aaliyah, Left Eye, Biggie, and Tupac. And the reason why I bring this cover story up is because Aaliyah is forever tied to this group of young legends who lost their lives too soon, who had such promising careers, especially in the Black community, right? But in so many ways, we know what happened to Left Eye. It was caught on camera. There's conspiracy theories with that, but it was caught on camera what happened to Left Eye, Biggie, and Tupac. Unfortunately, they both passed in the same way, and we all should know how. And you think about their cases, 20 plus years later, 25 years later, there's still developments in that case. Who did it? And there's still that strata of mystery with them. But in the end, we all know they were targets. Someone did it because of the beef they both were in. You can even move on to Selena and her tragic ending, but we know how Selena passed. The troll standing right there, she's still behind bars. We know how all of these young legends pass in a sense. The difference with Aaliyah's case is that in so many ways, it's still being presented as an accident when evidence, court documents, and so much more hints that it wasn't just an accident, that there was other factors involved, maybe even some foul play. In which, going back to that interview Damon Dash did with E.T., no one really talks about out of respect for Aaliyah's memory. And in some form of irony, Hype Williams also accompanied Left Eye to Honduras in 2001 and did a whole photo shoot and filmed a lot of behind the scenes footage with her. This shows he definitely had a knack for tropical destination locations. Traveling all the way to Honduras with Left Eye just for a photo shoot, making Aaliyah and the team and everybody go to the Bahamas to do some video, where she could have stayed in Miami to do the same video with the many different beaches that Miami is known for. I mean, is all of this adding up to y'all? One last thing, as mentioned in my Fatima video, when they got a call about a plane crash back at the resort, Hype didn't even budge to go find out anything, being the director of the shoot. Fatima and Aaliyah's stylist Derek Lee went to the crash site and airport and relayed him the message. Now again, Hype Williams is the reason why they even moved the video to the Bahamas. You got all this footage, you know Aaliyah and her team left early, they went to the airport. A few hours later, you get a call that a plane crash. You being the director, you being the reason why you're even in the Bahamas in the first place, you didn't get that inclination or that feeling or that care to at least go and investigate and find out what happened. Was it Aaliyah? Was it everybody that just left that shoot? Being in a sense responsible for all of that going on? As the director, Fatima being her choreographer, Derek Lee being her stylist, I'm pretty sure they didn't want to go there and potentially find out that it was Aaliyah and everybody else they had worked with that was in this accident, but they did. Aaliyah was your friend of 6 years, right? Aaliyah was also Fatima's friend. She was also Derek Lee's friend. They went to find out. As Hype said, him and Aaliyah was friends for 6 years. You being the director of the shoot, you stayed at the resort just hoping that it wasn't what you thought it was. But when Fatima and Derek Lee came back and told you, I wonder what went through his mind. I wonder what was done. Being that when broken all down, Hype and his production company Instinct was the reason why they were in the Bahamas, and in some form or fashion was responsible for everyone's safety. The bottom line is that no, this video won't bring Aaliyah and her team back, but it will open people's eyes to it being more than just an accident, which is the narrative that was pushed. Aaliyah was this diva that just had to board the plane at that very moment. We must go. Our luggage must go with us. That's what was reported and assumed. This was reported an accident, right? An accident that was so preventable, I must emphasize. An accident due not only to the negligence of the airport, but of Hype Williams and his production company Instinct, amongst other factors, which might contribute to why Hype Williams has been so silent about Aaliyah's accident all these years later, and even back then. All in all, this was just a really devastating loss. It not only was Aaliyah lost, but Douglas Kratz, Keith Wallace, Eric Foreman, Anthony Dodd, Gina Smith, Christopher Maldonado, and Scott Gallen. All of these precious lives lost in such a senseless and preventable accident. And the hope is that while they're resting in peace, justice is also served for them and their families when finally the real truth of what happened on August 25th, 2001 gets revealed. And with that, I leave it there. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.